Hi, welcome back to Reading with Manny. I'm Manny and today I'm finally doing my July wrap-up. Today is the 14th of August. I'm kind of late, but this month it has basically run me over with all the things I had to do, so yeah. It's also the 14th of August and I've only read 2 books out of my TBR so far, which is not ideal, but also I don't really care. So anyway, I'm still way ahead my original goal of 50 books in the year, so you know, whatever. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna catch up now in the second half of the month. I can't talk. I don't know how this is gonna go. my brain is all over the place. But anyway, let's just jump right in. I said I was gonna read a bit more in July than I normally do because I had holidays for half of the month, but that did not happen. I ended up reading 5.5 books in July. The last one I did finish like in the first days of August, so I'm still gonna count it for July because I did read most of it in July. But yeah, so the first book I read was Nettle Bone by Kingfisher. I have a vlog about these first 4 books because I was vlogging during the holidays, so if you want to hear more in-depth thought about any of these books, at least the first 4, you can go and check those out. I'll link them up above when they come up. But yes, this one, Nettle Bone, I absolutely loved. I gave 5 stars. It was incredible. It's the first book I've read by this author, but I am planning on starting her newest one later in the month, so pretty excited about that because I did really love this book. It reads like a dark fairy tale, which I love. It's about this princess and her older sisters have been suffering at the hands of this prince that for some reasons is involved in their lives, and well, one day she decides that enough is enough, so she goes seek the help of a witch. I think they were called dust witches or dust something in the book, I can't remember now, but it was great. And she gives her 3 impossible tasks to prove that, you know, this witch can help her or something like that. And it's interesting, I don't think I mentioned this in the vlog, but we start right in the middle of the story. Like, she's in the middle of the second task when it starts, and you're like thrown in the story, and then eventually through flashbacks and things you start piecing all the story together, and I thought that was fantastic, especially for such a short book. It's like really I don't know what the word is, but it's like it's very efficient storytelling, I guess, for such a short book to like go back and forth, and I don't know, I found it really engaging. I loved all the characters. I love the dynamics between them, the banter, the witch, the dust person, witch, whatever, can't remember what they're called now, but she was amazing. I absolutely loved her. She has a possessed chicken, which is, you know, what initially interested me about the synopsis, the possessed chicken, it's like by a demon, in case that's not clear. That was just incredible. I don't know, everything was amazing and I really, really enjoyed it, so definitely recommend that one. The next one I read was The Leviathan by Rosie Andrews. Now, this was a highly, highly anticipated book for me. It came out earlier this year and I hadn't been able to get my hands on it, but I finally did, and it actually lived up to my expectations, if in a different way, I guess. It's about this man. It's set in the English Civil War, so like 17th century, early 17th century, and he was in one of these battles fighting for parliament, and then he goes back home because his sister writes to him telling him that their father is acting weird and that she's worried about him, and that there's this new servant who she suspects is a witch, and I don't know what else. So he goes back home, and well, things develop from there. I thought it was gonna go one way and it went another one. I don't know. I really love these magical realism books, or books that make you think that something, you know, otherworldly, supernatural is happening, but it isn't. I don't know. It played with that really, really well. I really enjoyed it. There's a twist that you can kind of see coming if you're paying attention, but it's still really well done. Super creepy. I loved it. You can see my vlog and see my reactions as I'm reading it. Really enjoyed that one. Also gave it 5 stars. Again, I'm pretty liberal with my stars. All right, the next book I read was what was the next book I read? Oh, then I read The Dance Tree by Kira Millwood Hargrave. I said it correctly on the first try, so I'm very proud of myself. I don't think I've ever been able to say her name like in one go. Anyway, again, this was a highly anticipated book for me, especially after reading her other book, The Mercies, which I really enjoyed, and it's really beautiful. This one, hold on, we have church bells happening. Very fitting for the book I'm gonna talk about. Okay, so this book is set in the, what was it, 16th century? God, I can't remember. It's been a month and I already can't remember exactly when this happened. But it's set in Strasbourg. Yes, I think it's 1500s, so 16th century. Anyway, it's set in Strasbourg, and it's set in this period of the dance plague, the dancing plague or something, in which women started spontaneously dancing to no music in the middle of the town, of the city, as if they were, I don't know, possessed or something, and they wouldn't stop, which was, you know, which baffled people, obviously. And it started with like one woman, and then more joined in, and it was like really like as if they were actually like in a trance. Very weird, very interesting thing to investigate afterwards. But anyway, it's set there, and we follow this woman called Lisbeth. She lives on the outskirts of the town. Her family, her in-laws actually have a farm, and they have bees. They keep bees, and she's very good at it. And she's pregnant, and she's lost many babies before. She has miscarried a lot of pregnancies. She blames herself for a myriad of reasons. Her husband blames her also. Her mother-in-law, it's just a whole thing. And their lives are kind of about to be upended because her sister-in-law, who she has never met, because she's been for like years up in the mountains doing some sort of penance for some sin that she committed, is actually coming back because her penance has finished. And yeah, we kind of go on from there. They never told Lisbeth what her sister-in-law, Nethe, had done. Even her best friend, who knew her, also never told her. It's just super interesting. Again, here, it's just, I cried. It was so, I don't know, incredible the way that this author just makes you feel about the characters. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. But again, you can go see my thoughts on that vlog, because there's a lot of them, and I don't think I can talk about this book anymore. It was incredible. I loved it. Okay, and after that I read Sundial by Katrina Ward. This is her newest book, and I read her previous book, The Last House on Needless Street, last year, and was one of my favorites, so I was very excited to read this one. And it did not disappoint. I'm like, again, you can watch my vlog and see my reactions, because wow, and she did it again. It's basically about this mother who is very worried about her daughter, because she has been displaying some very weird, some very concerning, I would say, behaviors. So she takes her back to her family home where she grew up, which is like an establishment set in the middle of nowhere in California, like in the desert. And nothing is what it seems. The mother has secrets of her own, and things go from there. You start learning the backstory of this woman and her relationship with her husband, which is not good. And she has 2 daughters. She's trying to protect one from the older daughter, which is why she takes her away. The daughter, we have the daughter's perspective too, and it starts like very weird, very I don't know what the word is, very disturbing. And yeah, the whole book was disturbing, and I loved it so much. It was so good. The twists, the ending, I can't. Also 5 stars. Did I say The Dance Tree also? It also had 5 stars. This one, Sundial in particular, I kept thinking about for days. So good. Really highly recommend. Although there are many trigger warnings that I would check before reading, because yeah, there are lots of disturbing scenes, especially the ending. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. And then is when I kind of got what, I don't know, what other people will call slumpy. I started reading Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. This book has everything, like all the ingredients to make me love a book, and yet I couldn't really love it. I don't know what happened. I don't know if because I went back to work that week that I started it, and I was very busy, so I was reading it kind of slowly. I was very tired. I wasn't reading as much as, you know, previously. So it took me a while to get through it, because it's also like over 600 pages. It's very, very big. It's the start of a series too, which I do want to continue. But I don't know, I feel like I loved all the characters and I wanted to know what was happening, and yet I couldn't really, I wasn't excited to pick it up, I guess. Once I got going with it, I was excited to read it and like figure out things, but yeah. There's a lot of things going on in that book. Basically, we are following these two kids who have these special abilities, let's call them like superpowers basically, or like magic powers or something. And they're being hunted by this other person, I guess, and there are others who are trying to get them to this school for these special kids who have these special abilities, like in Scotland or something. Yeah, close to Edinburgh, I think it was. Kind of reminiscent of Hogwarts, I guess. But no, because it's super dark, the whole thing. And yeah, it's like their struggles with that, and like the fight between this other person who is hunting them for a very specific reason, and well, yeah, that would be spoilerish. But yeah, it's just, I don't know what happened. I mean, I do want to read the second book. I'm very intrigued. But yeah, it was a weird one, I guess. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars, and I think on Goodreads I gave it a 3. I don't know. I don't usually do half stars, but 3 stars seems a bit too low and 4 stars seems a bit too much, so I guess that's why the half stars exist. But yeah, I don't know. Weird for me, I guess. Especially because I do think that it's the kind of book that I usually like, so I don't know what happened. I think it was me. So yeah, after that book, I still had a couple of books on my TBR, but I wasn't really feeling many of them, and also I got sick at the end of July, which was not good. I was in bed for like 5 days, like destroyed. And I started reading Saturday by Ian McEwan, which is the only book I read physically this month. It's quite long and very slow. It's very much character driven. I mean, it's not even 300 pages, but it feels much longer. I don't know, it's very slow. Like usually Ian McEwan's books are slow. They're kind of very much character driven. There's a lot of introspection in this one. Some very interesting topics being discussed, but again, maybe it's because I was sick and not really feeling it. It took me way longer to finish this book than it should have. I finished it like well into August. But again, I was also very busy when I came back from being sick, because I had lots of things to catch up on. Obviously, I hate being sick. Anyway, this book is about this man who is I think his name was Henry. Yeah, Henry, who is a neurosurgeon, and it's set in London in 2003. It's set right before the invasion of Iraq, so people are debating it on the news and in the UN, and people are protesting on the streets in London. That period, and so it follows the day of this neurosurgeon as he wakes up in the middle of the night, and then everything that happens to him in the day, which is pretty mundane. Like he says goodbye to his wife, he talks to his son, he goes to a squash, what was it? He has a squash game with one of his colleagues, which that part kind of dragged on. It was described in so much detail, and I couldn't really picture it because I don't know how squash works. But anyway, like all of those things. But in the middle of all that, he has an encounter with another man, and well, that derails all the rest of the day for him. And well, it all comes to a head at a family dinner at night. Anyway, it was just a lot. I usually really enjoy Ian McEwan's books. I think I gave all of them either 4 or 5 stars. Like Atonement is one of my all-time favorite books. But this one just, I mean, I enjoyed it, and I understood what it was trying to do, and I enjoyed some of the discussions in this, especially the ones about war and things like that, about the war, especially having, you know, lived through it. I mean, not personally, but through the news and stuff. I mean, I was alive for this event, is what I mean. But yeah, I just didn't. I mean, I think I still gave it 4 stars, because again, I'm usually quite generous, because I mean, the writing style is still impeccable. It's Ian McEwan, he's very engaging. So yeah, that's everything I read in July. I hope your July went slightly better than mine, although I'm not mad about it. I did read 4 5-star reads, and you know, had a good time. Anyway, again, let me know how your July went down in the comments below, and if you have read any of these books so we can discuss them. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you haven't already, so you can see how August actually goes, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, happy reading!